Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode. I believe we're up to episode 5.
Yes, 5.
We're up to episode 5 of season 2 of Hillbilly Therapy. I am your wonderful and beautiful host, Mr. Jake Hill, and this is my less than prettier co-host, Mr. Dan Fraley. Say hi.
That's on my business card. Less pretty. That's what it says.
I'm actually who printed the business cards.
Yeah, he's an ass.
I'm an asshole. But welcome to another episode. Usually we like to have a little bit of a ramble before, but shit's gonna get weird this week.
Yeah. Oh, this week.
Yes.
This week it's gonna get weird. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Been normal up to this point, but yeah.
But most importantly, we do need to tell people, please send in your questions. And we do also have to announce something, Dan, that we've forgotten over the last few weeks. Because, well, usually you put me in charge of these things and I fucking forget. We have merch.
Yes,
we actually have actual Hillbilly Therapy merch. You can go. We'll have the link with this so that we can get you the link. You can have a nice shirt with the Hillbilly Therapy logo, and you can have it in green, black. Hell, maybe girls, you want to go pink? You can go pink.
Any color your heart desires.
And even better, ladies, because damn it, I love you. We even came up, specially designed by your Hillbilly Therapist himself. A shirt made specially for you, ladies. Are you ready for this? A little bit of a drum roll, please, on this one. Just kidding. But, we've got one that on the front, it's going to say, I'm right. And on the back, it's going to say, he's wrong. And that is specifically for you, ladies. So please go on there. You can get it on a t-shirt. You can get a mug. Maybe you want to put it on the back of your computer so every single time your husband walks by, he remembers who's right and who's wrong. You can even get a pillow for your bed. The beautiful pillows that ladies love putting on their beds. You can have one that says, I'm right. And then he says some bitch and he flips it over and it's going to say he's wrong. That is made specifically for you, ladies. So please go to the site that we have linked with this video and please go and buy it.
Win arguments and
please send us pictures. I beg of you, please send us pictures, especially if you get the pillow, because I want to see the beautiful pillows that we know all men hate with our beautiful pillow right up front.
Win arguments in pillow form, thanks to Hillbilly Therapy.
You're welcome. But we definitely got to get to the questions so we can answer questions. Because like I said, this week, it's going to get fun.
Oh, boy.
And speaking of fights.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready to help a fight?
I'm ready as I'm going to get.
Because we have a gentleman that has sent us, because he needs our help.
Of course they do.
All right, it says, help me, Hillbilly Therapy. My wife asked me if her new outfit made her look fat. Huh? I said yes. Now she's mad. Help.
There's no helping you.
You're fucked.
Here's the thing. When you send in a question like this, and it's already done, you ain't looking for help. You're looking for an escape plan. And here's the thing. Women remember things that were said a decade ago. You don't get out of that. This is like the FBI. They have records, okay? The idea that you said it. Now, if you said she asked if she made her look fat and you had enough time to shoot us an email and ask us what you should say, and in this really Zach Morris type freezing of time, we had the chance to get back with you, and then you responded, that's all different matter.
The answer is no. The answer is always no.
But after the fact, after they ask you this very simple question, and you answer incorrectly, do not come to us and expect, there's no advice here. Here's the advice. Fake your own death, okay? Go fake your own death. Go to the desert. Crash your car into a cactus, go to Mexico, and restart your life. Because that's the only way away from this. There's no helping you now, okay? Because they don't forget.
Okay, now, here's the part where I'm going to give you a little bit of help, sir. Are you ready for this? The Hillbilly Therapist is here to help. Now, I'm gonna give you a second right here to grab your significant other, and you guys are both gonna stand there and listen to this. Are you ready? Now, I'm gonna talk here to the wife. Are you? I know you're staring and you're wondering where the hell I'm going to go with this. I'm going to need you to take your hand, lift it behind your husband's head, and smack him right in the back of the head. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that probably a little too hard, but he deserved it. Do you feel better? Good. Now, the fight is over. You're good. Pick him up off the floor. And you probably shouldn't have hit him with a baseball bat. I said your hand. But problem is solved. And again, in the future, if she says, does this make me look anything? You say, honey, you are more beautiful than the day I met you. That is it. Nothing else. You stick to the script, you dumbass. Alrighty. Now, Dan, do you have Netflix?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I know this is going to sound like a random ad for Netflix, but this is the part where we're going to get weird.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Netflix.
Because they want to know our thoughts on a wonderful movie documentary that was put up on Netflix a couple months ago called Abducted in Plain Sight.
There it is.
And now, if you have not seen this golden what the fuck of a documentary, I advise you get some wine or something to drink, because you're in it for a fucking long haul, because I actually bet my wonderful, just absolutely adorable mother, who has never cursed, to watch Abducted in Plain Sight. I kid you not. 20 minutes into it. Okay, I'm 32 years old. I have never heard my mother use a quote-unquote French word. Alright? And my mom looked at me and goes, what the fuck am I watching? Yeah, you made a woman that is almost 55 years old curse for the first time. That is the craziest. And if you haven't seen this thing before we talk about this, I'm going to ask you, pause this, go to Netflix and watch it, then come back.
We're steering
so
traffic.
You will understand why we're about to say the things that we're about to say.
So we're steering traffic to Netflix right now. Netflix making older women curse since forever. That should be their slogan. We can make your parents curse. Ding.
And if you're wondering, since we have continued to keep saying Netflix, if how much we're being paid by Netflix
nothing
to say this, not a goddamn
this
thing.
Is an anti-commercial. This is
it's
like,
about to be.
This is what they like. If they paid you to say it, no, they're not paying us, and we're honestly probably doing them harm because we're telling you how horrible this show is.
Okay.
The people involved are horrible people.
So in the last episode, I got a little serious.
Yes, you did.
And talked about how we need to just start fucking killing pedophiles. And I believe this is the postal reason for why the fuck I think that.
Yeah, he started his presidential campaign, that show.
We did.
Yeah.
And I'd like to point out, I'd like to take the time to thank the 3 veterans that have donated money to the Kill the Pedophiles campaign.
He's already beaten Ted Cruz. That's
God damn it.
Yeah, he's already
Yes, made me choke him a beer.
He's already up on Ted Cruz by 2 points, so doing good so far.
He just made me choke him a beer. Do you know what Bud Light is like when it comes out your nose?
I don't know that.
You don't? I forgot you don't.
Probably the same way as it goes in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But if you're a beer company and you would like me to drink your beer on air instead of the shitty Bud Light, instead of shitty Bud Light, please send a message to Hillbilly Therapy, because I will gladly drink your beer and I'll even say your name.
So he's already ruled out Bud Light, just for the record.
Yeah.
So Bud Light, go to hell, because it's not going to happen.
You ain't paid me shit.
But anyone else?
We have to actually get to the damn thing.
They
wanted to know what we thought about Abducted in Plain Sight, which is about a family back in the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Who let their neighbor take their daughter, and we're talking their daughter as 8 years old.
Kidnap their daughter and keep her for a while. And then
married her.
Hold on.
Married her,
quote unquote, America. Then didn't press charges.
No, they pressed charges.
No.
Then they took them away.
You know why? Because turns out the father jacked the guy off in a truck.
Not kidding. We are not making this shit up. Do you know this is actually the point that my mom went, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. Guy jacked the guy off in a truck.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. I don't care how, if it doesn't work on my prom date when I was 17, it should not work on a grown ass man.
Yes. And here's the thing about this.
By the way, Sherry, I still thank you for that.
He jerked off the dad. The dad jerked him off. The mother slept with him. He abducts the daughter. They get her back because they had a miscommunication. Get her back. She then...
That's a fucked up miscommunication.
That's what he said.
Oh, shit.
So,
that's what you said, horseback riding.
Yeah.
We didn't know that meant go to Mexico and get married.
I didn't know you meant fucking my daughter. I didn't know that.
I knew you meant fucking my daughter.
That was really lost in translation. I mean, he was only speaking English.
That seriously sounds like some Southern might be like, just so you know...
horseback riding.
Yeah, horseback riding sounds like I'm about to take your daughter and go fuck.
Yeah. So anyway, they come back, they press charges, they take the charge away because aforementioned dad jacking was what is going to be mentioned.
Hashtag dad jacking.
Yeah, there we go. Get that to fucking trend. Anyway... So then she gets older. He buys a amusement park.
I'm still laughing about dad jacking.
First of all, an amusement park owned by a pedophile. That's just That's just like
what?
They had like an amusement park where he was working. He owned.
Who the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because they didn't press charges.
So then she decides. First of all decides she's 14 years old. She decides she's going to go spend the summer with senior pedophile for the summer. And they take her. Listen, and here's the whole thing. These are the dumbest. And I don't like to judge people. I may judge Kanye West, because the hell with Kanye West. But for most people, I don't judge random people. Not my say. But this guy kidnapped your daughter, then because your dad jerked him off, that you dropped the charges, and then you let her take a summer vacation with the fucker? Hell no. These are the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life, and they're Mormons. Do you know how dumb you have to be a dumb Mormon? Mormons believe if you die and you're a really good person, you become a god of your own planet. And among that group of people, these people were dumber. They were dumber than the average Mormon. What does that tell you?
Oh, great. We're going to have Mormons.
Oh, yeah. Fuck Utah. That's another state I'm going to add to it. All right? Alabama, Mississippi, Utah, Michigan, Florida. The hell with Florida while we're at it, because come on. They give me enough reasons. Face eating and shit. No, fuck Utah. So yeah, among the Utah, among the Mormons
are we up to 7 states?
I believe so. I'm making my way through at a
I was over here trying to count, and I'm not smart enough to do that.
But among those dumb people that believe dumb shit, these guys with the dad jacking and sending your daughter to a pedophile summer camp, you are dumber than the average person. That's how bad these people... And they go, not only do they do it, this happened years ago, not only do they do it, not only does this fucking happen, right? Not only does this fucker finally get convicted for one of the 50,000 things he did, not only this, they agree to make a movie distributed on Netflix. So there are 70-year-old motherfuckers who then tell themselves, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to record and then release all the dumb shit I did with my own child, where I let her go to a pedophile summer camp and my husband jerked off a guy in a truck. I'm going to let that be recorded.
You know what was crazy? When I first saw this, I thought this was one of those things like, you're going to find out that it was a family that was like, here's a crazy idea that we can get a bunch of money off of, and it's all going to be a fake story.
Oh my God.
So after I watched it, I was like, all right, now I'm going to go on here, I'm going to find out, it was a big hoax.
No.
This family, no.
No, they're just genuinely dumb.
It wasn't.
They're genuinely dumb. Genuinely dumb. They're not fake. They're not making some kind of hoax. This isn't the Amityville horror of dad jacking. No. This was a real fucking story. Not only were they dumb enough to do it, not only were they dumb enough to let her go to a summer camp run by a goddamn pedophile, not only all this and all this shit later, they recorded it and released it onto fucking Netflix. So they're triple dumb. They're triple dumb.
All right. I believe we have ripped that sumbitch.
Oh, yeah. I think we have, yeah.
So we'll go back to watching our Ted Bundy tapes and enjoying Netflix again.
Oh, yeah. Something more family-friendly like Ted Bundy or some kind of Bollywood film or some shit. I'd watch that shit before I watch that goddamn fucking shit anymore. These dumb people. And then the whole time, first of all, if any of this happened to me, listen, if a half of this happened to me, I wouldn't be talking to my parents in their retirement age, okay? It wouldn't be we're still friendly. No, motherfucker, no. We ain't friends. Okay? I'll hear about your funeral in the newspaper, okay? So don't tell me that they're all, no. Fucking dad jacking, mom cheated on her husband with the dude multiple times. After he abducted the daughter. After.
And the dad jerked him off in the parking lot.
Because
if you've ever had a friend that's like, man, I need relieved.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I
guess I will. No, you are a moron. Okay, let's just call that straight what it is. And the fact that you record it and then put it on Netflix, you're triple dumb. Triple dumb. That's a whole level of stupid I can't even begin to fathom.
Not that this is a weird transition into our third question.
Oh, there's another question.
There is, but
all right.
It fits.
Okay.
All right. But this person wanted to know, okay, our thoughts on the lack of mental health awareness in this country. And because mental health has really become an issue.
Absolutely.
Especially when it refers to gun control.
Right.
And everything else. And I do think we've had a lack of mental health for the simple fact that our parents grew up in a society where you just ignored that shit.
Yes.
He's a little yippity kind of things. And I mean, you didn't have the awareness of the different things like ADD.
Right.
He just doesn't fucking listen,
right.
Kind of thing. Then you have depression's been on the rise because our fucking world's insane. And like anxiety. People used to just say, oh, they're stressed, not realizing that anxiety is a major problem. So I do believe there's been, and for the simple fact that I suffer from high anxiety. Mm-hmm. That is actually one of the reasons why I started this podcast, was because it became therapy for me. Hillbilly Therapy is not only therapy for the people that are listening, it's also therapy for me because it gives me the chance to be able to release the stress that I have. So as much as helping you guys laugh, when we do this podcast, it's much a help to me because of my anxiety issues and depression issues and everything. So I do believe that we do have a lack of mental health awareness, but I think it's getting better. But I think as a society, we really need to learn how to deal with people that have it. Mm-hmm. Especially with depression. Depression has been a major problem that even when people just go, oh, well, you need antidepressants. Problem fucking solved. You got a pill? Problem fucking solved. And that ain't fucking doing it. That's why we also have a high rate of suicide. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this. If you are listening to this podcast right now and you have ever had any of those thoughts, please reach out to a hotline. I know it's weird when I get serious on this podcast, but that is definitely something that, it's getting even worse when you're having 8 and 9-year-olds committing suicide because life's getting fucking rough, and that's fucking insane to me. But I do think mental health it's getting better, but we're a long fucking way away.
And while he does Hillbilly Therapy, A, to help you, and B, to sort of get over his own stresses and things like that, for the record, I do this podcast so I can yell at strangers. The point is, and it's
also therapy for him.
It helps me.
You guys don't get to see the smile that comes across his face while he's screaming these crazy things.
Because otherwise, if I'm yelling about Kanye West in any other context, I'm just a lunatic walking down the street muttering to myself, and no one needs that. Here's the thing: mental illness has existed since the beginning of time. It's just every generation has a different name for it. PTSD used to be called shell shock. That's what it was called. It was called shell shock. Now we know it's PTSD. It is a condition we can treat and handle and deal with.
Here's the thing. Did you know that just people that have been at war aren't the only people that can suffer?
PTSD can be any traumatic event.
I actually, when I first got divorced, I had a doctor that thought I may have suffered from PTSD just because of the stress. So believe me, PTSD, and what's funny is I heard someone say to me when I was talking about it, I said, isn't that just for people that went through war? Isn't that kind of messed up to judge, and say you have PTSD when you didn't even go to war? Yeah. And there is wars that are fought with guns. Right. And stuff like that. And there is a war of the brain. Right. And I think that's become the biggest problem is we want to play who should be more stressed than the others.
Everyone has their issues. Everyone has something. And again, I'm going to get serious here, and I get a little ranty at times, all the time. But the reality is, yes, everyone's going through something. Like I said, things were different. Back in the day, my grandmother, and I'll share this story publicly, I've never been described with this. My grandmother was dyslexic. So my grandmother went 84 years of her life, didn't know how to read. And because back when she was in school, dyslexia wasn't a thing. So all they saw was some kid who didn't know how to read, and they just sort of went on with it. So this is a woman who never learned to read because she was never taught to read because they didn't know it was dyslexia till she was well into her 70s. So the idea of these things exist. People say, well, what about depression? And I always hear this new argument, oh, well, this didn't exist when I was a kid. Yes, it did. Depression existed in the 50s. You just didn't say it.
I do believe the 1920s were called the Great Depression.
The Great Depression. But
we named it Great Depression. People go, "What? Didn't exist when I was a kid."
Yeah.
It was a great one.
It's the same people that it's the same people talk about. Well, autism. Well, there weren't autism. Yes, there was. We just have a better idea of what it is and how to diagnose it now. The idea that it never went away. This stuff's always existed. We're just at a point where we acknowledge it.
It's not like polio.
Right. Polio went away. But it's, you know why? For the record, for anyone following along, because of vaccines! Anyway, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. These things exist. Mental illness, and it is everyone. And if you think, oh, they're too young, or they're not. And I've started
that's how crazy this world has gotten.
Yeah.
When you've got 8 and 9-year-olds that are dealing with shit. Because the thing about it is, with technology, when we were younger, and, we were bullied, at least I know I was bullied in school until
absolutely.
I socked him in the throat.
Well, that's how it works.
But that was a different time. But, I'd be able to leave school and go home. I didn't have to deal with the asshole.
Right.
Now, because of social media, that asshole can follow me fucking everywhere.
Yeah, mental illness is now, like I said, the idea, there's this old idea that they're too young. They're not. And like I said, I said this, I was born in 1984, and I didn't have readily access to the internet until I was 14, 15 years old. But I'll tell you this right now, I was 11 years old, my first real breakdown. The first time I went to a hospital, and I was diagnosed with a mental disorder. I was 11 years old. And most people look at an 11-year-old, they don't think, no, 11-year-olds can get it, 9-year-olds can get it, 10-year-olds, it's just because they're a kid.
You're never too young to not be able to deal with shit. Even the younger you are, the harder it is to just say, mom, dad, teacher, guidance counselor, fuck, your best friend, just tell them, shit ain't fucking right. Like, something ain't right with the way I feel, and talk to somebody.
And on the inverse part of that, because there is a whole generation of this, my father and the generation beneath him, so my father's a little older, there's this idea that they're tougher. And that like their generation, it affects you too. And there's nothing wrong with you. If you got something wrong with you, it's the same thing. If you have a heart condition, you go to a doctor to get your heart worked on. If you have a mental condition, you go to a doctor to get your mental health. It doesn't make you any weaker, and it doesn't hurt you to go get something fixed. If you're depressed, do something about it. And I don't mean, and for the record, we're talking to these self-help assholes. I don't mean take a walk in the woods and take some echinacea. I'm talking about if you need medication to function, take medication to function. Don't get drugged out, but take what you need to get just to level out. There's nothing wrong with that.
I shared a thing on this page, I believe a month ago, that talked about that mental health issues are one of the biggest killers of men.
Absolutely.
Because there's more men that aren't able to deal with shit because of like what Dan said. Mm-hmm. We had, our fathers going, be a man, don't be a bitch. Yeah. And things like that. But guess what? Those are the ones that are dropping dead of heart attacks at 40 years old because they have so much goddamn stress.
And I might make a couple enemies here. And if you're listening, again, this is a comedy podcast. We usually screw around. But if there's someone listening who like, oh, I like the rest of it, they get to this point and it pisses them off, I don't give a shit. There is enough of this, what they call toxic masculinity. There's enough of this male bravado bullshit that will not allow somebody, whether it's themselves or accept of other people, if they need help, to go get the help. Well, because they are not a man. They're not. Fuck that. Anyone who says that, if anyone looks at you and says, oh, you need this or you need to go to a doctor, but you know what to do? Tell them to go fuck off. Because what keeps you alive, what keeps you going, fuck anyone else who says otherwise. I don't care if they're your best friend. I don't care if they're your parents. If they're trying to stop you from being happy, the hell with them. Do what makes you happy and do what you need to do to see another day so you can listen to more podcasts from Hillbilly Therapy.
That was a beautiful...
I turned that into a commercial.
Wow, that was fucking beautiful.
Yes.
But, sadly, this is the end of another episode of Hillbilly Therapy. I really hope, honestly, we have helped you. We have talked about some weird things, talked about our new merch. Once again, go down there and click. But again, seriously, if you guys are out there and you all need help, call somebody, okay? Call an actual fucking therapist.
Yes, a real one.
but most importantly, you know, keep listening to us. But because like he said, you know, we'll always be here to listen, because if you guys ain't around, then ain't nobody listening to us. But I'll say that all you guys, I love you, but you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell out of here. You guys have a great night.